Hello there and welcome to the Mobile Academy. And if you want to become a job ready Flutter developer, make sure to check out the courses on my website mobileacademy.io. Here you will find all of the courses related to the Flutter development. You will find the professional course as well as the basic course related to the Flutter. You can also find some of the free courses over here if you want to just go and try it out, or if you are just a beginner on the Flutter and then the React Native, you can also find the free course over here. And if you would like to be a full stack developer, we also have the course related to the full stack developer, related to the Node.js, Express, MongoDB, as well as the Flutter over here. And if you would like to join the Flutter bootcamp, there is also a bootcamp course over here. So make sure to go and check out the course over here. There are free and then the paid course. And if you want to be a job ready Flutter developer, this is the course that you want to take. So see you guys on the next lesson. Till then, have a great day.
Yeah, hello there and welcome back, and let us continue with our lesson over here. And in this particular lesson we are going to learn about the async notifier. And in the previous lesson we learned about the notifier and then the notifier provider. These are the new API that is provided with the Flutter Riverpod version of 2.0. So these are the recommended way if you want to create any of the your existing, or if you want to upgrade your existing application or create a new Flutter application, then you should always go with this one. So let us go and see how we can make use of the async notifier, which help us to asynchronously initialize our notifier over here. So let us get started over here. So let's go and create the new file over here as well. Let me just go and create the new file and call this one as the dot file. And now what I can do is I can go and create the class over here, and I'll just call this one as the counter async notifier provider. I guess that should be good. I don't want to call it as a provider over here, so let's just call it as a counter async notifier over here. And that is going to extend our async notifier, right? So that is coming from the Flutter Riverpod over here, and then we need to provide the state over here. So current state, we just have a integer over here, and we need to override the build method that is going to make use of the future or. So let's just go and import this one over here. Let me just go and import the .async library over here. And now this is the build method, and then we have a asynchronous build over here. So as I mentioned previously, using the async notifier, we can asynchronously initialize our notifier over here. And if you go to the previous one, which is of the notifier provider, we have the same build method over here, but we did not have an option to run any of the asynchronous tasks over here. So if you want to go and run some kind of the asynchronous tasks in the build, or once you initialize this particular notifier, then you don't have an option to do that one, because it doesn't support the asynchronous initialization of our notifier over here. But in case if you want to initialize your notifier, like you want to go and call the API, right, and then wait for the response back from the API, or you want to connect to your local database and wait for the response back from the database. So you need to make use of the asynchronous call over here. So in that case, what we can do is we have to go and make use of the async notifier instead of the notifier class over here. And what I will do is I'll just go and create the final variable over here, and that will be counter async notifier provider, and we need to make use of the async notifier, and in the previous we make use of the notifier provider. So once we are making use of the async notifier, we have to make use of the async notifier provider, and the same concept, we have to provide our the asynchronous notifier class over here, and then the state that we have, and then we just have to go and return, that is going to return us the new instance of our counter async notifier over here. And then now let us try to go and simulate some asynchronous tasks over here. Currently we don't have anything complex over here, but I will try to create a simple example over here, which is of the, let's say, value over here. And I'm just going to create a future the delay, and then the delay will be of, let's say, a 5-second of the delay, and then we are going to return a 1 from here, or let's just go and return a default value of the 0 over here. And now if you take a look, this is an int value, and this value is what we are going to return from here. So we are trying to stimulate some kind of the asynchronous tasks over here. This is not a good way of actually doing it over here, but just for the test case, or just to show you how we can make initialize the asynchronous value over here, I'm trying to show you over here. So once we have this over here, and we are going to return that particular value over here. And now what we can do is we can also okay, so let's just go back to our counter screen first of all, and let me just go and comment out this one over here. And I'll just go and say the final again, and then the counter over here, which will be of the equals to ref dot the watch as well, and it will be of the counter async notifier provider over here. So let's just go and close this one. And now if you take a look over here, it's a bit different over here. So this is a async, or the async value. If you take a look over here, this is a async value of the type is of the int. So we don't get access to the value directly, but we get access to the async value. And what we can do with this particular async value is quite interesting. So what we can do is this can provide us the different kind of the state, like it can provide us the value or the data. It can also provide us the something like a loading state, and then the error itself, error state as well. So let's go down over here inside of this one, and currently let's just go down over here, and in the counter what I will do over here is the what we have is the counter that we have, or I'll just call this one as the counter async, right? ASYNC over here, so it will be much more easier for us to understand. Counter async, and I'm not interested in all of those. Let's go to the when condition, and in the when condition, now you can see we have the data, error loading, skip error, skip loading on refresh, and skip loading on reload. So what we will do over here is we want to load the data, error, and then the loading over here. So you can see over here, right? So what I will do is I'll just copy, let's just copy this one over here, or let's just remove all of this, or let's just comment out this one. So we are not interested actually creating a beautiful UI over here. And I'll just go and say the let's just go and copy this one over here, and I guess I can provide it over here. Sorry for that. It should be actually inside of this one, right? And that should be fine, I guess. Okay, so now what we have is we have this particular when condition. So when what we want to do is when there is a data, we want to show this one. When there is an error, we want to show an error, and when there is an loading, we want to show an loading over here. So let's just go and try to reload our application over here. You can see now we have the loading state. So that should be of the 5-second. Now you can see, and we got the default value of the 0. That's cool, right? So now you have the loading state, and then you have the data. And if there was an error, then you should also get that particular error over here as well. So that's cool, right? So next thing what we have to do is we need to grab this particular all of this functionality that we have, and we can just go to our notifier provider as well, and let's just go and paste it over here. And there is an error, so we need to fix this one. Now let us try to fix this particular error that we have. And what we have to do is we can't use this directly over here. Sorry for that. And if you take a look over here, this is an async value, right? Async value with the state. So we can't just go and directly access that and increment or decrement or go and set this value directly over here. And if you take a look over here, let's just go and add the state over here. And this particular state will be of the async value. So what we'll do over here is there is a very good the option from the Flutter Riverpod itself that we can add this async value, like you can add the data loading state and also the error itself, right? So you can go and say the async value dot data or the async value dot loading or the async value dot the error as well. So let's just go and set the default of the let's say a default of the async loading. So I'll just go and set it the const, and let's make this one as the future as well over here. And then the future of the void, I'm going to set it as a void, and let's just make this one as the asynchronous function. And now the state will be of the loading, right? So this will be a state will be of the loading. And now what I will do is I'll just go and make use of the, let's just go and say the let's just go and grab the let's just go and stimulate like something like you are calling the API. So for that, what I will do is the let's say a const of the value over here, and value will be of the await, and I'm just going to delay it the duration over here, and delay the const of the not the 5 second, I think the 1 second would be enough. And from here I'm going to return the some value over here. So it's going to return the not the 0, right? What I need to do is from here I'm going to return something like the state that we have, and state dot the value. So the state dot the value will give us the int, and it can be of the null. So I'll just go and say this, if it is of the null, then return me the 0 over here. So we have some error, so const variable must be initialized with the const value over here. Somewhere I made a mistake over here, so this is of the const, it should be of the final over here actually. So now we got the value after the 1 second, and now once we have that particular value, we are trying to stimulate like you are calling some kind of the API or the database call over here. And what I will do over here is go and say the state, and the state, since it is of the async value, so we are going to set this is as the data, and the value that we got from here, if it will give us the current state value, otherwise if it is of the null, then we are going to get the 0. So let's say if the value is of the 3, so we get the 3, and then we'll update it +1, and that should update the current state. So let's just go and do the same thing over here as well. So I'll just go and copy this one, or yeah, let's just go and copy and paste it below as well. And let's just go and make this one as a asynchronous function as well, and also this one, let's just go and say this is of the future of the void over here. And let's go back to our screen and let's set it up over there. Let's open up the counter screen, and in the counter let's just go and duplicate this particular value. I just want to keep it for your reference if you want to make use, and this will be of our the counter async notifier provider. Counter async notifier provider, and we got the increment, and we have to do the same thing for our decrement over here, and we haven't initialized our the reset functionality. So now let's just go and reload our application, and you will see that we got the loading state, which will be of the 5 second, and then now the default value is of the 0. Let's try to go and increment it. So now you got 1, we got the loading state, right? So we got the loading state, and that's cool. So now we got the value to increment as well as to decrement. So yeah, I think it's still calling the increment option. So I guess we got some mistake over here. Let's just go and make this one as the negative value or the minus. So that should go and call the decrement on our state over here. Now let us try to see how we can work with the reset value over here. So first thing, let's try to do it a bit differently compared to what we have done over here. So let's just go and make this one as the future of the void as well. And now let's just go and set the state first of all, that will be of the const of async loading. Next we'll set the state which will be of equals to await, async, let's just go and set the async value. We'll just make use of the async value dot, and now you have an option to set the data and the error as well as the loading, right? But let us try to make use of the guard over here. We have already make use of the data over here. Let us try to see how we can set the guard over here. You can obviously go and set the error, and also you can set the loading state as well, but here we have already set it up there. Later, once we are doing some more stuff over here, we'll try to make use of error and the loading. But for now, let's try to make use of the guard over here. And you see that transform future that may fail in something that is safe to read. So let's say if you call an API and there was an error on that particular request. So how do we catch it? So we, instead of like going and catching the try and error, so instead of doing try catch block over here, we can actually just go and, like, if there is an success, right, then we set the data. But if there is an error, we set the error async value that the error to our state. But what we want to do is, instead of writing this particular try and then the catch block over here, Riverpod provides us the more easy way to handle the loading, error, and then the data state. So what we can do is we can just go and set the guard. This guard state is going to handle both of the error as well as the success state over here. So let's just go and make this a function. This is a function call. If you go and take a look over here, where was that? So let's just go down over here. You see that this takes a function, a callback function. So let's just go and say this is of the callback function of the asynchronous type, async, and let's just go and close it over here. And from here, what I can do is let's just go and return a default of the future. So we want to return in the future, right? So future dot the delay and the const of the duration and duration of, let's say, a second, and then we are going to return our default value of the 0 from here. So that should be, I guess, good enough. So let's try to see the first the data over here, the success, and later we'll try the error over here. Let's try to go and reload this one, and I guess the 5 seconds is too much over here, so we can just go and do it for 1 second as well, so that will be much more faster. So 1 second, and let's try to go and update the value. And now what we have to do is we need to reset that one. So in the counter, you can go and add the counter async and then call the reset over here. And once we do that, what we can do is, now let's just go and reset this one. So you can see and now you get the value of the 0. So it got the loading state from here, and now the value has been reset. The state has been reset to the default 0. So now let's say you got some error in the API call or the database call. Let's try to return from here, and that will be of the future dot the error over here, and in error, let's just go and return some simple exception over here, and I'll just go and say this is an error, error reset the state, let's say. And let's just go and comment out this one as well. And now what I can do is I can just go and rerun this one more time, and let's increment some value from here, and let's just go and reset it over here. Now you see that we got the exception and exception error reset they have. So which means now with this particular guard, we can actually, whether it's going to return an error or whether it's going to return an success, right? So it can return an error or a success. So instead of going and saying the try catch over here, try catch over here, and setting that something like if you have a value, then you have to set something like state dot the value, something like this over here. And if there is an error, then you have to async dot the error, and you have to set some error over here. So instead of doing all of those try catch block and writing your code, the Riverpod is cool over here, right? So instead of doing all of this stuff, you can just guard it and then it's going to return your error or the success, so you don't have to worry about all of those error handling over here. So that's pretty cool. So I guess that's all for this particular lesson, and we learn about some basic stuff regarding the async notifier over here, all right, as well as the async notifier provider. So let's continue with our lesson in the next lesson. Till then, have a great day.